Welcome back. Today I want to talk about energy, and I have a great story. I went to visit a student, and they mentioned to me that they had seen a picture of watching the energy go up the spine, cascade outside of the aura, come back down, and then feed in through the bottom of the spine, and then go back up. So it was this umbrella of energy. They saw it on a video on the internet, and ever since they saw that, they said, I could feel it. As soon as I saw it, I could feel it, and then I just kept feeling it all the time. Is that okay? Is that going to cause me problems in my meditative journey? Fantastic question. And I said, no, it's fine, it's just fine. And then I went to my hotel room, and that night I had a really interesting sensation, but I didn't really care about the sensation. It was only in the background of my mind that I noticed what was going on, and I, as usual, just kind of shrugged my shoulders and said, okay, that's what's going on. This is what is. That's fine. And then I thought, wait a moment. This is a great story to tell this student who's worrying about feeling these energetic sensations inside of him. What if I explain this kind of energetic sensation will happen all the time? Not just this one, but a multitude of energetic sensations will go on in the body all the time, and it's totally okay. And so I told him the story, and I think it was very helpful and reassuring to know that all kinds of crazy energetic sensations can go on inside of the yogi, and eventually the yogi does not worry about it. So what I'd like to do is go through a large multitude of possible sensations that you can feel in meditation to reassure you that it's okay and that you're not alone. You're not the only one trying to figure out what is going on to me, and there's nobody out there to tell you, hey, this is okay. So this video is here to tell you, hey, you're not alone, and this is okay to feel. And what to do if your energetic system begins to get out of balance. How do I know? What do I do? How do I approach it? How do I think about it? Let's get into it. So like I was saying, this student of mine saw a picture that the energy was going up the spine, it was cascading over the outside of the aura and then coming back up the spine and cascading out. And ever since he saw that picture, he could feel that. And his subconscious just wanted to play with that and keep feeling it and keep feeling it and keep feeling it all day. And it was a little bit worrisome because what did I turn on? All I did was look at a picture. What did I turn on? Well, the subconscious is very, very interesting. And if we worry about something and we fixate on something, it will become even more fixated on what we are fixated on. And so the solution is to become very, very relaxed and not worry about it. And then some of these things will fade and some other things will come up, and it's just very, very normal. And this is what happens to the yogi over a long stretch of time. So I've been feeling energetic sensations for, I don't know, maybe 20 years. And so at a certain point, and especially with my training with the Shokji, he taught me to focus on other things, not to fixate on the energy. And a lot of yogis want to fixate on the energy. And he said this is a mistake. And I took his word for it. And in my own experience, I 1000% agree, I really agree on that. If we will put our mind on bliss, and if we will put our mind on consciousness, which includes love and forgiveness and expansion and all these beautiful things, when we put our mind on those really, really important points inside of ourselves, it's much, much more fulfilling than energy. That's not to say that the energy does not have its place. It just means it's not the end. It's the middle. And you don't want to become fixated on the middle, or you'll be stuck in the middle. Very simple, very easy to understand, right? If I am learning to drive my car and I get fixated on the gear shift, right, then I will never fully complete the process of allowing that to go back into the subconscious and just concentrate on driving, right? I want the whole of that knowledge of driving to become a part of me, and I just want to look out the window and concentrate on what I'm doing in driving. If I'm fixated on the gear shifting, then I will lose the point of learning to drive, right? It's the same thing for energy and the yogi. So I went back to my hotel room, and the sensation was really interesting. And I've had this kind of thing happen before. This sensation was I felt it very clearly, and it was very big, and yet it didn't worry me at all. So I've had sensations at the root of my spine that it was burning, that it was coming undone, that it was growing, that it was, all of these sensations at the base of the spine that would be associated with Kundalini. This one was very interesting. From midway in the spine, it felt as if a wedge suddenly opened up. And it was this pyramid-like wedge in my spine that was completely open. And the lower 3 chakras were activated in a good way and just started shedding energy in a grounding ceremony. So they just let go and let go and let go and let go as I was laying in bed. There was no conscious thought. I wasn't trying to do something. I didn't do a particular technique that activated this. It was just the subconscious, perhaps directed by the higher self, that said, this is what we need to do. We need to do a grounding ceremony. We're just going to open up your lower spine, and we're just going to shed all this energy, and it's going to ground you, and you're going to let go of all this stuff in the lower chakras. And it just let go and let go and let go and let go. And I had no idea what was going on in particular. It felt very big, like a very big Kundalini experience coming up the spine. And yet I felt this kind of thing so many times. It didn't worry me. It didn't disturb me. In fact, I rolled over and I went back to sleep. So that's how used to these different sensations that are inside of you can become. Because the energy will come up, it will rise in your mind, and then it will kind of go back down into the subconscious. But it's still there. Did you ever hear that once you take the genie out of the bottle, you cannot stuff him back? That's what it's like being a yogi. And uncovering the subconscious, uncovering the energy inside of you. Once you pull that genie out of the bottle, you're not really going to be able to put him back. But he will subside and become normal to you. So it's not that you have to deal with all of this energy sensation for the rest of your life. You just have to normalize it. It just has to become normal to you, and it will sink just a little bit back into the subconscious. So that was my particular sensation. What are some other sensations you might find? You might find the energy going up and down and up and down. And this is one of the main energetic systems that the yogi likes to get in touch with, because it has to do with the breath. And now we're going up towards the brain. We'll also come back down, but we'll go up towards the brain. This is very good for the yogi to notice. And so a lot of yogis, a lot of people, if you read about 20 Kundalini books, you're going to hear about that sensation quite a bit. And very interestingly, a lot of times the people in those books who are having all of these sensations are nurses. Now, why do you think that would be? Because they're working in the ER, they're working with patients who are terminally ill, and they face death. They see the process at the end of life, and they realize this is not everything. And you're faced with that truth over and over and over again. It leads to a certain detachment from the body. A dear friend of mine recently reminded me that Saint Francis would call his body Brother Donkey. Isn't that sweet? He said it affectionately, right? Brother donkey. This is not me. This is my brother donkey, but I'm affectionate with my brother donkey. He's a nice little donkey, and I take good care of him, right? That was St. Francis's attitude toward his body. And working as a nurse, facing terminally ill patients over and over again, you begin to adopt the same kind of attitude where there is a little bit of proper detachment from the body. And that will put you in touch with the subconscious. It will put you in touch with your energetic system. And many, many nurses will feel these Kundalini symptoms inside of themselves. Fascinating, right? One of the things that will happen as you get in touch with your subconscious is you will notice that the energy will become preoccupied with a part of the body which is injured. So if I was to have an injury in my shoulder, then I may notice that the subconscious energy will gather in that particular spot. That's the subconscious trying to fix the problem with whatever means it has available. So the level of nutrition that you are giving your body, it will marshal those resources to the part of the body that needs fixing, and you will feel that subconscious involvement with whatever injury you might have, and it will eat and eat and eat away at that problem, and it may go for years. And so you will hear people with Kundalini experiences, oh, I had this stuck energy. Maybe it was in their neck, or maybe it was in their chest, or maybe it was in their back, but they will talk about having stuck energy. And if you talk with them long enough, you will find out, oh my God, you're right. I had an injury in my neck. I had an injury in my shoulder. I had an injury in my wrist, and that's why I have all of this stuck energy in the wrist as the subconscious is marshaling those reserves to try and chew away and slowly heal the problem. And it may take years. And so you can help the body. You can put something like Dit Dat Jiao, or you can use calendula gel. That's one of my favorites. You can use hot and cold therapy gel on your body, and you can give yourself more nutrition and see if you can help the body. Use a sauna, get a massage, use chiropractic, take a hot shower, take a cold shower, and help the body to slowly work on that injury, and you'll find some relief from that energy which is preoccupied. Being aware of the subconscious energy to such a high degree, and it's new for you, so you kind of fixate on it, and it can become too much. And so helping the body can be very helpful. You can also talk to yourself. You can talk to the higher self. Oh my goodness, this is great. I wanted more information. I wanted to be in touch with all of my energetic system. This is very, very powerful for me. It's going to help me heal myself. It's going to help me heal my body. I understand. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. And would you go ahead and ratchet that down a little bit for me? Just ratchet it down a little bit. It's a little too much in my face. Just ratchet this particular information. Just ratchet it down. Thank you so much. Just ratchet it down a little bit. And that's how you talk to your higher self and your subconscious, and it will help you do this. If you pray that every day, you talk to the higher self like that every day, and it will ratchet it down. You're not going to lose your energetic sensations. You're just communicating. You're working with the higher self for a comfortable place, feeling all of these energies. Now, this process is going to happen automatically. I already told you, 10, 20 years, it's going to happen automatically. It comes up. We get really excited and fixated, and then we relax, and then we relax. We notice bliss, we notice consciousness, we notice love, we notice forgiveness, we notice expansion, we notice the intuition and the knowingness, right? The downloads. And slowly that energy is not so in our face anymore. So it's a very natural process. It's still there, but it's not as big in our face. That's going to go on anyway. But you can speed it up just a little bit by talking with yourself and giving yourself these positive suggestions and recommendations. And you're finding your place inside of this experience of energy. Lahira Mashaya talked about 3 specific feelings that the yogi might encounter. And he wanted to tell his students about this because as we are going towards the right brain, this is my terminology, right? But as we're going towards the right brain, we're going to disengage from the left brain. And that involvement of the mind and the energy is locked in the left brain, and we're unlocking it. And so that unlocking creates a specific segregation of sensations. And that's what the 3 knots are. And so I want to remind you about those. So the first energetic sensation is a pull of energy towards the brain. And a lot of yogis are very fixated on the spiritual eye, and so it will come into the spiritual eye, and it can feel so powerful that it feels like your brain is going to split, or it feels like it's going to give you a huge headache. And when it's that powerful, you have to stop what you're doing. You have to back away from your normal meditative practice and slow down for a while and balance this energy so that you don't cause yourself a severe headache in meditation every time. That's crazy. Don't do that to yourself. People will tell you, oh, just push through. No. We're only working with one body here. We're only working with one energetic system. It's yours. You want to take care of it. You want to love it. This is our brother donkey. We have to take care of it. We have to do right. Okay? And so just pushing through is not, okay, maybe it works a couple times, but what about the other 90%? Those are the people I'm worried about, and that's why I don't say anything like that, do I? Don't just push through, okay? Because maybe you're the lucky 10%, but I got to think about the other 90%. That's who I'm worried about. When something happens like this in your energetic system, you need time to adapt. You need time to figure it out and balance yourself. You need to consciously and subconsciously learn to balance your energetic system. You've got a new energetic something happening. You cannot just run around with all of this. Life will get really difficult really fast. And so you've got to stop what you've been doing and maybe just do the Mahamudra and the Navi. Just do that. Just stop what you're doing. If you're getting that first sensation and it's too much like it was for me, slow down on your regular meditation, whatever it is, and just do stretching, the Mahamudra, and just do Navi, the guardian video. Okay? Just do those 2 things and wait for things to balance a little bit. Go out and do some grounding exercises. I have an old video, my name, grounding. Search that. You're going to find it. That's a little bit about grounding. It's wonderful. And what are we doing as a yogi? We're trying to balance heaven and earth. And the martial artists, they have these wonderful poses where they're showing you this balance in the energetic system. Heaven and earth, right? One hand to earth, one hand to heaven. They're learning to create that balance. It's beautiful, isn't it? So we want to create some of that. And if we have too much heaven, we got to get back down to earth. And that's what the grounding is for. It seems opposite, but we have to balance. Everything has to be okay inside of us so that we can go very deep into the deep brain, right? That's what we want. So we got to have a little bit of balance in order to create that deep clarity inside of ourselves. The second sensation is the opening of the heart. And that's really when you really begin to feel all of these energetic sensations, right? And at that point, you can push energy through your body. You just go, and I feel the energy going right out my hand. Just one little breath, and I feel it floating. It's still floating out of my hand, right? And so the subconscious is there. It's integrated. It's hooked up. And that's really the opening of the heart knot. When you feel inside of the body, like one yogi said to me, it feels, this is all he said, it feels like a new world has opened up to me inside of my body. That's it. That is the opening of the heart knot. The sensitivity is there. And you feel this connection with the subconscious The subconscious is sending energetic signals through the body, and you feel all of it. That is perfect. The third sensation, as we're really, really, really letting go of the left brain, we're disengaging from all the processes that we're in our normal life, we are engaged with. We're disengaging from all of those, and it's like you're unscrewing from your left brain. And so there's actually a spiral that you can feel inside of yourself. And you might feel it at the base of the spine. You might feel it or see it in your spiritual eye. You might have a vision of spiral-like energy. And you might feel it outside of yourself as if the room is spinning. So I've told this story before, but I was in the ashram and I was sitting, meditating. My breath became very, very, very tranquil. I couldn't find it. I was in the very deep, tranquil breath, and I could not find my breath. And at that moment, the whole room, I felt it like this. And I opened my eyes because I was convinced that the whole world was spinning. And I really thought I'm going to open my eyes and see it spinning. It wasn't. I didn't see anything like that. But I continued to feel the spiral in the whole room. So that is the third knot. So we got 1, 2, 3. And people go, wait, isn't it supposed to go up? That's a different set of sensations. That is the roll-up of consciousness. So as the consciousness goes up back to the brain, we are also going through this other process, which is disengaging from the left brain. And it's creating these 3 sensations. And you might feel them anywhere in the body. But Lahir Mashaya, when he spoke of them, he said there's one here, there's one here, and there's one at the base of the spine. That's how it is organized when it is taught. But when you feel it, you could feel it or see it anywhere. The roll-up of consciousness, you might feel energy jump up into your heart, and your heart kind of explodes. This is a roll-up of consciousness into the heart. You really got rid of the 3 lower chakras that really hold us down, don't they? And suddenly, you know exactly how the lover feels. I'm floating on cloud 9. I'm so in love. I love everything. I love you. I love the world. I love the sky. Everything is beautiful. That is a roll up into the heart, right? And then we might feel it come up into our throat. And we might feel it come up into the medulla. And we might feel it come up to the top of the head, and it might just open up. So there are all these sensations of the top of the head opening up you might feel. When you feel that sensation at the spiritual eye, try and pull it back to the medulla. Or pull it up towards the top of your head and open it up. Because that's a much better place to feel that feeling of the first knot. So when you feel that, pull it back to the medulla. Just kind of pull it back. Just feel as if I am pulling it back mentally. I'm just pulling it back to the medulla, or I'm just rotating it up to the top of my head, and the top of my head is just opening up into expansion. We're too fixated at the spiritual eye, right? And it can cause this little bit of tension like knot in the spiritual eye. The energy, because of our practice, is already going up into the brain, and we're so fixated on the spiritual eye, it's really knotting up in the spiritual eye. But if we rotate that towards the top of the head and we enter into passing through that knot, which is this expansive feeling, then it can dissipate that tension in the spiritual eye and give you a lot of relief. I really recommend that along with grounding exercises. Get in touch with the ground and create that balance of heaven and earth. Now there are a host of sensations which have to do with really exiting. So we've already finished the 3 knots, and now we're just zooming into the right brain, and it causes a sensation through the body a lot of times. So you can feel like there's a rocket going up your spine. You can feel like there's a vacuum sucking you up your spine. You can feel like you are falling or dissolving out of what you were. You're dissolving into something else. You can feel as if the higher self, the divine, is swallowing you whole. It's one of my favorites. The first time it happened, I felt it. I'm like, what is going on? Oh my God, it's so big. I don't know what it is. I think it's wonderful, but it's kind of scary at the same time. And that's where we are with a lot of these sensations. It's big. I don't know what it is. Is it good? Is it bad? I think it's okay. I think it's good. I think it's because of my meditative practice, but I don't know. It's kind of scary at the same time. So we're in a funny place, right? But that is Jonah and the whale. The little you is getting swallowed by the big you. The little you in the left brain is getting swallowed up as you enter into the right brain. And that is the swallowing whole. So there's the rocket up, the falling up, the swallowing whole, the dissolving, the falling. All of these are absorption type experiences. All of them are okay. The only place we get in trouble with any of these energetic sensations is when they're not comfortable for us. That's when we have to disengage, slow down, do some Mahamudra, do some Navi, balance ourselves, create balance, talk to the subconscious, talk to the higher self, and create a hand-in-hand pathway forward with ourselves. Balance, right? Creating balance inside of ourselves, being okay with the process which is taking place. There are a bunch of sensations that will happen because of the freeze response. First, we have the sensations of the 4 proofs. We really want to notice any of those because it tells us we are entering into the parasympathetic system. As we keep engaging over and over and over with the parasympathetic system, we might also notice sensations inside of the nose. As the turbinates pull back, the airway opens up. And those are the 5 breath states that are on my channel. Not everybody uses them because they're very subtle. But the last one, the nose really opens up. And it feels like I could never breathe through my nose ever before. And now it's just completely open and there is absolutely no obstruction. It's really wonderful. And it means you've gone very, very, very deep with your own parasympathetic system. Now, the last of the 4 proofs, the skin might really start tingling. This is a wonderful sensation of the freeze response. Somewhere along the way, we might notice that the spine becomes blissful because of that pressure that we are activating the dorsal vagal through the long breath of heart rate variability resonant breathing, right? We're doing that breath, and that long breathing is awakening the dorsal vagal. The dorsal vagal itself may begin to tingle and feel joyful or blissful or even loving. It might feel loving to you, joyful or blissful or just a little tickle. The whole skin may feel the same. It may tingle all over as a certain set of nerves are stimulated in the freeze response, and it causes all of the sensations of the body to greatly diminish. But that's not what you notice as you are a yogi. You just notice that everything feels delightful and tingling. And that's why I say the 4 proofs are potentially extremely blissful. I started getting these sensations and I realized if this is as far as I ever got, I would be very, very content with my whole meditative practice. And it gave me a sense of relief that at least I did something with my meditative journey. Oh my God, thank you. So all of that tingling, that's the freeze response. And the spine itself may begin to feel cool. It may feel as if it is stiff like a rod. So that freeze happens even in the spine, and the spine or the whole body may feel stiff like a rod, like steel, like there's no moving. Like suddenly I don't have to worry about my posture. The spine itself is very stiff, and the yogis love to talk about that. And that is the freeze response through the spine. Feeling that freeze response really activate in the spine itself. The whole body can feel that way. I've talked about it felt as if my skin had become shell-like. That if I was to break this wonderful freeze, I would be breaking the shell of my own body. Like if I shift, I might break the outward skin shell of this freeze that had come over me. It sounds a little strange, but it's absolutely delightful. It was so wonderful. It's still so wonderful. I pass through it very quickly sometimes and the whole body just disappears, which is another sensation. Parts of the body will disappear. You might also feel waves of coolness through the spine. because we're becoming so extremely relaxed, we're also lowering our blood pressure, which seems to awaken the immune system. And so the immune system will turn on and the fear will go away. And both of these will really activate a lot of heat in the body. There was a period of time when no one could sleep next to me. I would sleep with my wife and she would tell me, you've got to get up and go away. It's the middle of the night. What's going on? You're like a furnace. I don't know what's wrong with you. You're like 1,000 degrees hot. You got to go somewhere else, okay? Go to the couch. And I'd be banished to the couch because I was going through this awakening of the heat inside of the body, and that went on for years. But it happens much more quickly for my students. The next phase, that the freeze begins to overtake the heat. And the freeze will eventually overcome that heat. And you'll just have the freeze response and everything will be very, very cool. And this is why Lahiri Mahashaya said, first the yogi will become hot and then he'll become cool. So first, the immune system is awakened, and second, the freeze response overtakes that. And everything becomes cool. You get these blissful, cool waves that will go wash through the whole body, or maybe just wash through the spine. All of that is beautiful. And like I said, parts of the body may disappear. The arm might disappear. The whole arm might disappear. The legs might disappear. The lower torso might disappear. And you'll also get these strange stretching sensations. You'll feel as if my head is way up here, my neck is this long, and down here is my body. And that is that internal GPS of the left brain, which you are disengaging from, is getting confused. Doesn't know what is what. And so you'll feel like your head is over here and your body is over here, or maybe the other way around. But everything will get a little bit discombobulated. Very important scientific term, discombobulated. You will not know what is what. Everything will stretch out. It'll be a little discombobulated. Totally normal. That is part of the freeze response. A possible part of the freeze response. It's not that you have to go through all of these sensations. You just need a little bit of understanding these sensations, that you can understand what you're going through, and it will help to light your way. That's what we want. We want it to light your way. We want you to be comfortable and relaxed in all of this. You might get excited. You might get fearful. Totally normal. Happened to me 1,000 times. And that's why we have the Navi. We have the Navi. We have the Mahamudra. Those are our insurance policies. We have the Om Japa in the chakras. That is our insurance policy to make our way through all of this easily. Much more easily than my time. Eventually, when the freeze response keeps going, you might feel like you're just your head. The body is gone, and you are just the head. I wrote Ashokji, I said, I'm just the box of my skull. Everything else is gone. In meditation, every meditation I'm going into, I am only the box of my skull. And he called me up and he goes, there should be no box! No box! Nothing! Nothing! No box at all! Just nothing, nothing, nothing! And I'm like, okay, I'll keep dissolving. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, sir. And it was beautiful. And so we keep going, and even that box will dissolve, and then your consciousness begins to expand. And that's the really key point. Now we're really, really, really touching on the deep brain as our consciousness, our sense of self expands into that unknown, right? Those are most of the key sensations that you might encounter. I think that's a good framework. Now, you might feel a lot of specific things, more specific than what I'm mentioning, inside of all of that. But look at these key sensations and go, where does this fit? Does this fit in any of these sensations? Does it sound a little bit familiar? And you'll start to understand these archetypes of energetic experience, and that will give you a framework of your own understanding of the process and where it's going, what is going on inside of you, what are you feeling. You're getting in touch with the deep subconscious. The subconscious is regulating everything inside of the body beautifully, wonderfully. Oh my God, thank you so much. I don't even have to think about breathing my breath or beating my heart. I don't have to think about elimination, thank God. I don't think about digestion or the immune response. The subconscious is doing all of that for me, all that internal regulation, and I'm just becoming a little bit aware of everything that's happening inside of the body. And those are the energetic signals that I am picking up on, and it's totally normal, understandable, absolutely scientific, totally 1,000%. Not everyone is aware of these things. Why is that? Well, not everybody is a yogi. They don't spend hours and hours and hours and hours with their own mind, right? They don't spend hours and hours and hours with their own body, investigating curiously, like a scientist, like a mad scientist in their room, working away on these little yogic projects, right? They don't do that. So of course they don't notice these things. But we are here, we are present, we are noticing, and all of that makes a difference in your consciousness. You start to see all of these things. And as you see yourself and you see your subconscious and you see your own thoughts, you'll start to see other people's thoughts. That is a natural evolution of becoming in touch with your own subconscious. You'll see the subconscious of other people more easily and plainly. And you'll realize we're all very much the same, aren't we? So I hope that you love this. I hope it helps you a lot and gives you peace. That's what I want for you. I hope you loved it. If you did, be sure to hit that bell down below so I can see all of you next time.